Hey folks, this is Guts here bringing you the day 5 recap of TI8. We only have one more day left, but today I would say was one of the best days. I think day 3 I said was really good in day 1, and day 2 was okay, and day 4 was bad. It's hard for me to say which was better. I think the OG EG is what made day 3 good. And this one was definitely OG LGD, so we're starting to see a bit of OG fanboyism or whatever in me, if you notice that trend. So I think the EG still overrides this one, even though today's was pretty dang sick. But the first up game was, I actually don't even remember. Was it Liquid Secret? I'm not sure. I can't even remember. I think that was it. Liquid Secret and Liquid 1. Yeah, that was it. It was a 2-0. I think Puppy had garbage drafts both times, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just check because I want to make sure that that actually did happen. So Liquid Secret did happen. Okay. Okay, let's check this out. So game 1, yeah, it was so bad because the main thing that screwed Secret over was that Brood got through in both games. That's just unacceptable. You know how good it is. Game 1, fine. I understand. Puppy thought he could deal with it. He had the right heroes, Earthshaker, Storm, Alk, even freaking Necro in a way stops Matumba. But the thing with a Matumba Brood is that he doesn't lose lane even if you win the lane because he's going to go and farm the jungle. And he doesn't need spiderlings to get kills because if he's farming the jungle, he's get BKB. And the hero has a natural built Satanic and has free pathing. I really like Bloodseeker and Storm as counters to Brood, which they didn't have the Storm, or the Bloodseeker, but that's because of the terrain aspect. But none of Secret's other heroes really do anything about terrain until they get blinks and stuff. And Ace just felt, because they had to throw this Alk in the safe lane, he just felt very low impact. This game, they had one really nice team fight that was sick. It actually probably could have brought them in the game, but unfortunately it followed up with a bad Agus waste after getting Rosh from that team fight, I'm pretty sure. And it was so sloppy. Game 1 was okay, but they lost and I'm like, okay, well, whatever. He just bans Bird in the next game and then they're fine. And he didn't. And the Bird was a problem. And they absolutely got crushed in this game. So, and technically, Monkey King beats Brood, right? You get these counters and it still doesn't matter. So Liquid just win that one. I was surprised Liquid had the F up in game 1. But either way, that was what happened for that. Then you had LGD OG. This was a really sick series because they went with Drow. I was surprised they let Drow go through, and then they followed up with the Huskar cheese, and I thought, oh boy, OG is in for a wild one, but nope. Show results, boom, they win it. What won this game? A lot of people said Thompson, but Thompson lost his lane. That's just something Thompson actually does quite often. He either wins or he loses. I know that's, wow, that's like every mid laner. But the thing is, like, Thompson you could tell right off the bat what his lane's going to be like. It's either complete garbage or it's just godlike. So this was complete garbage. It was not a fun Thompson lane. It reminded me of a Zeus game with EG, which they still won. He just got spanked. But Ana did super well with Jerax. Effing Mad did really well. And the thing I like about Mad is, one, he's innovative, but two, he goes really creative builds. So he went a Sheepstick. I've seen other people play Enchant and they'll do things like, I don't know, Shivs and stuff like that. It's just kind of weird. But Sheepstick, like you're removing a hero from Dota for a brief moment. And when you've got heroes like Huskar and Drow and Weaver, it's big. You burst them in seconds with your lineup. So No Tail did really good. He put so much pressure bottom lane with effing Mad. it caused a problem. Even though he won the lane, the Huskar, maybe Huskar, they lost. Like, he was a non-factor the rest of the game. And like I said, Ana and like OG's top and bottom lane basically won. The only lane they lost was mid, and then Topson eventually came online and wrecked. So that was a sick game. Game 2, it was actually pretty close, but the biggest thing is, as you could see from the Game 1 draft, there is no Storm ban until later on, right? Unfortunately, there was no Storm ban, period, so they grabbed the Maybe Storm. And in my opinion, Maybe Storm is better than Sumail's. Yes, I'm actually going to say that. Maybe as a player isn't as good as Sumail. I think Sumail's probably the best in the world at the moment. But the Maybe Storm is just, he knows exactly what to do. And it's the same thing with Matoma Brood. You just have to ban these heroes because you take away half the skill of a player. I explained this, I think, in day 2. I'm not entirely sure. There's no point in letting it, even if you could counter it, even if you have pro players yourself, even if you beat him in a pub before, there is no point risking it. A ban is to take out a hero that you think is going to have the most threat. And none of these, like, you beat a Drow. You don't need to ban a Drow. Tiny makes sense. Wisp, okay. Spectre, Lycan, fine. Probably not Lycan. But Maybe Storm was too problematic. They drafted a unique Magnus, and he couldn't use RPs because of it. Mind you, that was also mostly because of Phi. And Ana just was getting caught every single time. Silencer ult stops him from doing anything after he zips in, but once he zips, it's too late. Like, that hero's gone. Ana is gone. He went Radiance instead of like a faster BKB or whatever, so he just blows up every time. People thought Enchantress was the problem. Yeah, I've never really seen an Enchantress lose, but I think later in the game it doesn't matter. Because in Game 3, that's exactly what happened. They had an Enchantress, but they lost. This game they won. This one was simply the late game factor. They just took it too late. And this is a Spectre and a Arc Warden. Effing Mad really did nothing that game. No Tail, not too many great alts. Jarex won. I'd like to show you a video, but I'm not going to do that. You could search that yourself. Jarex is the main reason they won. People are like, oh no, it was LGD throwing. Yeah, partially, but it was mostly Jarex because even if LGD backed off, like, OG was in a really good spot. Like, all of LGD used buybacks, and there are still some buybacks still on OG. Assuming let's say they didn't go for the throne, there would still be some buybacks. OG's totally down with going out and looking for kills when you don't have any. So, but then again, maybe there would still be some buybacks because they won't be trying to throne. Either way, that's what happened. LGD was so close to throning, they bought back on their heroes, TP'd them back in after they died to try and finish it off. But the cooldowns of the deaths, the respawns of OG came just in time, Jarek specifically, and stopped them entirely. The Terrorblade, like 5-second sunders, whew, those really kept them alive. Like, if that was not an ability, they would not have even been close to winning that end game scenario. So, and as you can see here, they banned the Maybe Storm. There you go. Maybe in this game, in the first game, he won lane, but then he had no impact whatsoever. Like, he had a 30-minute armlet or whatever. In this game, he had, in my opinion, no impact until later on in the game, which is very weird for Mirana. Normally, you want earlier impact. So this is what I'm talking about. When you need to ban people's heroes. You need to do the same thing with Sumail on his Storm. And that leads us to our final game, which was EG versus Liquid. And we have a Sumail Storm. I click results. Surprising. So Liquid, same kind of thing. They thought they could counter it. They actually, look at these. Out of all these heroes, what counters Sumail Storm? He's near the end, so no one. And they had the biggest CK, but that doesn't do anything. Sumail's a really skilled player, so this was a massive mistake by Liquid. Probably cost them the series, because Game 2, they also lost. I think that was the only issue with Game 1. the picks of Liquid were very questionable, but they were pretty close in a way. So I think if they just banned the Sumail Storm, they would have been fine. If Sumail was on a different hero. Crit, on the other hand, no, I've never seen Crit do this much in a Dota game. Crit was the sole reason they won, because Liquid's entire purpose this game was just to hold off for a bit and then go. And Crit just... Oh, sorry, no, wrong game. This was the game that Crit's doing that. I was wondering why. I'm like, wait, this isn't Liquid's draft. This one was purely Sumail, basically. There's some really nice chain frosts. Arteezy got picked off a lot. This game was the one I'm talking about. Holy shoot. Crit's Willow. Basically, Sumail was getting kind of dumpstered. Arteezy was having a hard time. Miracle was struggling big time in this game, but Crit being online is what saved and salvaged this game, because even S4 wasn't doing that good. He bought the space needed to get Arteezy online, and Arteezy, a lot of props to him, even though he kind of died a bit this game, or was quiet, more so, he did the right item build. He did Manta into BKB, and I said, I'm like, Liquid needs BKBs. Miracle goes a Manta before his, so that puts him behind, because he keeps dying. And Mind Control, I think he went Vlad's or whatever. That kind of makes sense. He's a pretty durable, survivable hero. But he was dying too. So I think he needed a BKB too. And the only person who got a fast BKB on this team was Matumba. It was just really sad to watch Liquid. These are key mistakes they just shouldn't have been making. They thought they could make up for it with their plays. And that just didn't happen. Arteezy, you know when a hero goes... when a Spectre goes in early BKB, you know that it's saying something. He's saying the time is now. We have a slight lead. Now is the time. And he did it. The BKB was a massive problem. And they just won. Crit bought enough space for Arteezy to get the 2 items he needed to friggin' just go. And Sumail's another player that, he loses half his potential when you ban his heroes. But Timber's kind of one of his heroes. But even though he lost lane, he still was a pain in the ass later on, because no one had the appropriate items, the BKBs and stuff for him. So, honestly, I expected this. Well, I didn't expect it, but when the draft was complete, I'm like, wow, this is not good for Liquid. And I said it again this time. I'm like, wow, this is not good. I predicted the Venom. And I actually said, okay, it's probably going to, based off the bans already, I'm like, it's probably going to be either a CK or a Void. And they picked CK, and I kind of preferred Void. CK, he picked him, I think, because he's a stronger laner in a 2-1-2 patch that makes sense, whereas Void's more defensive. But if you laned him against the Weaver, I think Void could survive just with the time walks and stuff, and then eventually, Void kills Weaver with Chrono in laning phase once he gets it, level 7. And he would have GH with him, so I don't know. I think the Void was probably better here. It's really good for Sumail, but I don't think this game was Miracle's fault at all. I think it was definitely a drafting issue. Majorly drafting. In terms of not banning the Sumail. And this game, Miracle just got absolutely dumpstered. They had the right draft, but they needed ASAP BKBs. BKB before Manta, BKB instead of Vlad's. And Matumba was the only one who had the right idea, and he was the only one who did well. So, that was that. For day 5, they had a new hero release, which is Grimstroke. I don't even remember his name. Images. Boom, there he is. Look at that. Looks pretty cool. So Grimstroke was the new hero. They also announced Mars. As you can see here, he's going to be coming up in... Oh, Dota 2 blog. Let's check this out. There you go, see? Give some info. So they also released Mars, which will be coming out in winter. But Grimstroke, based off the abilities... Let's just check them out quickly, because we're doing the review. I did a video actually on him, but Stroke of Fate just shoots out a thing. Hiya! Does damage. Adds more, yada yada. Phantom Embrace, you grip them with a Phantom. If you don't kill it, or if they don't kill it, then it does damage and returns, and then you could use it again. Ink Swell is a buff, gives you more movement speed, does like an ion shell for damage, and then pops stuns and or not stuns. Sorry, the ink damage is. Oh yeah, damaging and stunning. I think they might remove the stun at some point. I don't know, because it seems like just a better Dark Willow ability. So they'll probably remove stun in the future. But basically, this ability is, I don't know. I think it's really good. It also stops physical attacks. That's pretty freaking broke. Which is like, I'll lose my train of thought because I'm so tired. Oracles, except for not magic. This thing basically does it ×2 of any abilities cast on the 2 chain-linked heroes. Plus it slows them and whatever. As you can see here with grip, it affects both. But that also is a double-edged sword. It works with any targeted abilities, including allies. So, but see, even his own abilities work. And anything else I'll add in the description. I haven't really talked about loser interviews. I think GH had a pretty decent one. They were really dumb questions from Machine. I think he's got to, especially for tomorrow, for the losers, he needs to work on those better. Someone tried to make him, I guess, more peppy, but it comes off as being dickish when you're peppy. I think it's better if he just asks the sob story ones and keeps the mood sobbish. Because if you're peppy, it's like mixed emotions, and it kind of makes people feel even worse. And his questions were bad. It's like, he's like, people are cheering for you. He's trying to say you still have support, but when he lost, the cheering doesn't help. So that leaves LGD, EG, and OG, China, NA, and EU. I really want OG to win, but I've already predicted LGD, and I actually don't want EG. But here's the perfect scenario. Here's what I want. I want EG to beat LGD and then lose to OG in the finals. And preferably a good old 3-2 lose, where it's stretched out as long as possible and OG wins. That would be the dream. If that happens, I guarantee you will never have a better TI ever. That will top TIs forever. That will top my vacation. It'll top everything I've ever asked for in aspects of Dota, if that happens. But it won't. So, okay scenario, I'm okay with LGD winning, or if it's like an OG LGD final and OG wins, I'm definitely okay with that too. I much prefer that because then both of my teams, no matter what, are going to win. But I really would like OG to beat EG in the grand finals because that would just be the best redemption arc. The worst case scenario is EG wins against LGD and then wins against OG. I think that would just be horrible. It's good for Arteezy, kind of good for Fly because I like Fly as a player. I don't like what he did to No-Tail though. S4, it'll be his 2-time win. That'll be nice. S4 is an okay dude. I don't have any emotions to him. Crit, yeah, that's fine too. Crit's an okay dude. Sumail, I really don't want to win just because of his joking money remark. Even though skill-wise, I think he is the best player, and in terms of best player winning 2 TIs, I think that's fair, but I'd rather he not win, just because it seems like, based off what he says, whether people are like, oh, but it's his income or whatever, it's just, I don't like people who value money more than just something that's a part of life, like they put more monetary value on it. I don't like that. You could try and convince me. I don't. I think too much of this is an unrelated topic. I think too much of the world is too money focused, and it's causing problems. And I think we need to, like, there's that Star Trek episode where there's no money. It's just like trade and stuff. That's like the dream scenario, but that's a separate thing. It just, I have other personal experiences that make me hate money. So what Sumail said really changed my definition of him. I'm still trying to be as unbiased as possible. Like I said, I think he's the best player, and I think if he wins a TI, like his second TI, it's because he's the best player, and that makes sense. That's fair. But I just don't appreciate his drive for it. He basically had no money, comes over here, gets a bunch of money, and now values money even more. And I feel like if you've already got money, like, it's not that you shouldn't care about it, but I think you could have better primary focuses. But to each their own. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I really want OG. I love their story. It would be so perfect for OG to win, whether it's against EG or LGD. LGD though I predicted, so if they win, that's fine. It'll be an OG LG. That'll be fine. And I do not want EG. But knowing my luck, there's a thing called William Luck. I just told you my name. It's like Murphy's Law for me. So knowing that, EG's probably gonna win somehow. I think OG is the most unpredictable because I didn't think they'd be EG or LGD. I knew they'd be VGJ Storm. LGD seems the most I can't even say the most stable. Let's say stable. They're not stable, but they just they seem like pressure and stuff isn't gonna cause them an issue. And EG I think are the most aggressive. It feels like EG just they know like it feels like they're like a bull or a rhino just smashing through a bunch of walls. Like they're just it's kind of like OG, what OG's doing, but OG's doing it as in it's unpredictable. You think they're going to lose and then they don't. Whereas EG, they're just like, it's not that you think they're going to lose, it's that they're just somehow managing to just keep going forward. So we'll see. Will LGD's stability of just being pretty good in intense scenarios work, or will EG bust through the wall and go right back to OG for a rematch? We'll see. So, one of my longer videos. I'll see you tomorrow with the final prediction.